A year ago when I was in severe depression, I met this woman who had cancer, and she talked about her recovery and about living to 120. I'm like, you can live to 120? And she's like, you can. And I'm like, I want to live to 120, but I'm wait, I have MS. I have these. But here's the thing, I don't want to just live to 120. I even have my necklace today, 120.
Welcome to Soul Inspired Living. I'm your host, Wendy, and today I'm super excited. I have a new series coming out called What's Your Story, where we go beyond the surface and into what shapes us, into the moments that actually shape us. The highs, the lows, the breakdowns, the breakthroughs, and the decisions that actually change our life. Because, believe it or not, one conversation can shift your entire life. I'm hoping that someone out there can resonate from this story today, or even an aha moment that can bring more meaning to your life. So without further ado, my first guest on What's Your Story? She is a wellness educator, a resilience advocate, the founder and visionary of the 120 Blessing. Please welcome my friend, Dina Lynn.
Hi there. Wow, that was really fancy. But you couldn't have said it better, because when I'm forced to take a look at myself, and those are things that I am. I'm more than that. I want to stress that.
Mm-hmm.
But, the founder of the 120 Blessing, today I'm wearing my necklace that saved my life about a year ago, and it says 120 on it. People ask me what it is, and
We have another visitor today,
yes,
too.
we do have another
Her
visitor
name's
today.
Nova.
But the things that you invited me to speak, and first I want to thank you. We all have a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we share parts of it, and sometimes we don't share none of it at all. And I do want to make it very clear that I accepted your invitation because I was like, you know what, if this video or this podcast reaches one person, then I did my job. And what it does, it puts purpose to the pain that I've been through in my life.
Yeah.
And that's really important for me. But it's not just about the pain, because as you were talking about breakthroughs, and I'm like, what about the breakups?
Oh, and the breakups, too. Here we go.
What about the breakups that change us, right? Oh,
Yeah, so wherever you want to start from, wherever you want to take us back to the beginning and kind of walk through your story.
what's my story? Where we want to go? Well, I do share this. I'm very careful how I share it, because I don't want to cry today. And it's the past. The past is already done with, right? But if I think about, how I entered the world, there was some reflection that I was doing recently, and I called my mom to ask her, and she's like, why do you want to talk about that? I don't want to talk about it. You know what? And I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It was just more for me asking, and I'm going to share it in a second. It was more me asking to understand the adversity and the circumstances in which I was born. I was raised by a single mother, but I was born, of course, with a mother and a father. And at 3 days old, the story is, and there's a newspaper article out there in the San Luis Obispo Tribune somewhere, that at 3 days old, 1976, November, I'm going to give my age, yikes. November 12th, 1976 is the day I was born. But about 3 days later, when my mother left the hospital with me and my father, the story is that police surrounded my mother and my father, like from every corner on the block. And the police said if they didn't give me, the child, up to mom, that they were going to shoot. And you think about it, how traumatizing for an innocent life to come into the world in that way. That wasn't the way I was. It didn't happen in a hospital setting, but it was just those first 3 days of life. Police surrounded my father because he was on the run, and they said, shoot, get the baby away, we're going to shoot. And he gave me to my mother. And I could look at, I don't remember that incident, but I could look at that as that's traumatizing,
That's
right?
very.
But you have to put meaning and purpose to everything that happens. And when I think about it, what my dad actually did at that moment is he actually gave me to safety. So he saved my life.
Yeah.
Because he chose to save me out of love.
Yeah.
So I could easily look at that like a victim, like, hey, I could have been shot. My father was on the run and in the prison system like forever, and that's how I was raised.
And he
I
chose
grew-
not to continue to run.
No,
He gave you up and
surrendered
he surrendered.
to give me life and to my mother. So despite that circumstance, he chose that. And to me, that stays with me to this very day, that he chose safety
And that's
for me.
looking at the positive side of things.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, it's always
You
about
definitely have
the
to.
mindset.
But that's not everything, I'm very grateful that my mother, she raised us, and I was telling someone today this morning, my mother raised us in a very...
She has so much to say.
She has so much to say. Do you want to get up here? You can if you want. I'll have to tell you how she came into my life too in a little bit here. But, I was raised in a single parent home, and that was hard. I have the true story. As a child, my mother would take us to visit my father growing up. I have been to every single prison, not jail, prison in the state of California. I know. Like, is that something to be proud of? No, not at all. But what I'm saying is, like, imagine growing up and you're seeing this dark life of men who chose a different path and they live in these prison walls. And I saw all that, But I'm grateful that my mother worked so hard to not even afford any opportunities for my sisters, my brother, and myself for us to even choose that path. We could have chosen that same path and say,
That's
because
right.
my father was in prison, I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to end up in prison. And
Yeah.
that wasn't the case, and I'm very grateful for that. I have a beautiful sister who's a principal of a school. I've got a brother who owns a business, successful real estate guy. My other sister is like the school district speech pathologist. And they're like, who
your
are you
mother raised 4 children?
4 children.
On her own. Bless her.
Yeah, and we all have dreams growing up, what we want to do. I always, first of all, I said I don't have children, but I never wanted to be I never want to be a single mother. Now, is that rude to say?
No,
No.
absolutely. We all have choices.
We all have choices, and my choice was not to have children for that reason, because I don't want to be a single mother.
And sometimes that's a good choice, because this is a wild and crazy world that we live in today. It's a lot more populated than it was when we grew up back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it is. So, but growing up, we were, I joke around when I say this, but if you think about it, there's so much truth to it. In a joking matter, but in a very truthful matter, I was a government cheese baby. My mother had her dreams and her aspirations. She made one choice one day to marry this man who made bad choices, and she ended up having to raise us alone. And back then, I don't think there were many, I'm not sure the opportunities back in the 70s, but she worked with what she had, and we were in poverty. We had a lot of poverty moments. I was a government cheese baby, and I can't joke about that. And there's no shame to that either.
Yeah.
No shame whatsoever. I was a government cheese baby. Thank you, Ronald Reagan, for giving me cheese and milk and the powdered milk. You remember that?
Oh, yes. I mean, it is what it is. And I like to say to that, every decision affects the rest of our life. So, I like to bring awareness to that, to, just, or consciousness, just being conscious of the choices that we're making out here. And
But it's not even for your own self, Wendy. Think about every choice that you make. And I love this topic. Every choice that you make is not just affecting you, it is affecting people all around the world.
that's right, everybody.
There's a book, and I should have brought it, and it talks about that little millimeter of a choice that you make every single day. You make a different turn on that path that you're going to the coffee shop, which I do sometimes. Me making that decision is having a butterfly effect. That's why our decisions and our choices.
That one little ripple.
It is.
Yep.
Very powerful if you think
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so from mom's house to where? What happened next?
I grew up and I graduated from high school, and I had dreams. I wanted to own a business one day. I knew nothing about owning a business, and I worked very hard. I always had opportunities. I've been working since the age of 13. I used to cut apricots at the age of 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was something that I did for like a summer gig. But, I always had dreams and aspirations, but I never knew how I was going to get there because I don't have a formal education. I did some college just to experiment and dabble, but that is really not for me. I do have the entrepreneur mindset. I'm a problem solver. I solve problems creatively. I'm a go-getter. I get things done type of person. And, I grew up, I had all these dreams and
And
aspirations.
that's all that matters.
Yeah. Worked my way. I went to a company one day. I knocked on their door. I said, "You guys hiring?" They said, we got to interview you. I worked my way from the bottom. And I share this because this is all going to head over to more of the story here in a bit. But in this quest to rise out of poverty, this quest to rise, like, I'm going to have a career and I'm not going to be a single parent. I'm not going to be on welfare. I'm not going to do any of those things. There was a lot of adversity in my childhood. There was abuse, not by my family, of course, but there was abuse along that path. And I just wanted to, like, everything that happened to me, I'm going to do better. That's always, I'm going to do better, right? And
wow, that was so.
I'm still doing better, by the way.
Yeah,
I
that's
gotta
right.
say
We're
that.
getting better and better every day, and it's just to be able to make that choice at such a young age as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I just knew that I was going to do better. And this is by all means, the path, the journey is not, it's been so messy. Everyone thinks that everything's
It's a
on
straight,
the mount.
it's
Yeah,
a straight path, and
it
it's
is not a
not.
straight-
It's all.
It's not a straight path. Oh boy, I've fallen so many times. But I always knew that I just, no matter what I put my mindset to, I can achieve anything, And I started
right.
at the very bottom at a company. I worked my way up. I was in architecture interiors for 17 and a half years. I was like, I would just get promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. And I just would give my all. I'd give my all and all that I did, There was some lessons that I've learned that when I reflect back during that period of my life and trying to build my career, that money isn't everything.
Right.
And killing yourself working 60-hour work weeks doesn't give you that true
It's
fulfillment.
not appealing to me either.
No, it isn't. But at first I thought having a career was a glamorous thing. And I did. I had the world in the palm of my hands. I could fly anywhere if I wanted to. I traveled a lot. I always wore the designer clothing. I did all those beautiful things that you do when you're young, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it fast forward to, I had this great career in interior architecture, loved what I did. But I moved to Las Vegas and moved here with $500 in my pocket, but I made sure I had things lined up in that profession.
I did something similar to that.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
boy, there's some stories there. I don't even think we could talk
What,
about it.
what year was that when you moved to Las
That
Vegas?
was 2009. It was Labor
Okay.
Day 2009 that I arrived, $500 in my pocket. And then I got
Mm-hmm.
here and I met a guy. But real quick, because this is not my whole life, but just talk about adversity. I'm away from mom. Met a guy,
Right. Yep.
accounting. 2 days later, I'm living with him. 2 days later, police knock on the door.
Ah.
Take him to federal prison. I'm like, whoa.
Oh no! Did you pick one like Dad?
I was like, I guess he stole millions of dollars from his clients. They arrested him, and I was like, my mom's like, "You gonna come home?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not coming home. I'm like trying to like build my life." And I could have ran home to mom, right?
Mhm.
But
No
I
reason.
chose
No reason to do
I
that.
chose not to, and I got out of that, and I still continued building my career. I can't believe that happened. That was 2009.
Wow.
And yeah, that was my first experience of living in the city all by myself with no family whatsoever. Everyone's out of state. But I had this career here. And in having this career here, I worked hard working. I was really involved in the dog and pony shows, trying to make things happen. And one day I went blind.
Wow.
You're like, what?
What
Wow.
happened?
Yeah.
Right.
I was, what? I'll never forget. I was living at the Las Vegas Country Club. I had a nice house on the golf course, and it was my good life there. And I was waking up with these headaches that were unbearable. It felt like somebody had a staple gun and was shooting staple guns around the entire crown of my head, and they were so painful. And I kept taking Tylenol, and it wouldn't go away. And then I woke up like a few days later, and I'm still by the way, I'm still showing up to work.
Right.
I'm still showing up in life, even with this pain. But then I think 3 or 4 days after this constant pain, I'm like, what's going on? I couldn't see. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is weird. Like, I didn't even think I was blind. But I called somebody, said, I don't think I can drive. Can you take me to the eye doctor? I think I need glasses. So she picks me up. It was just like a solid gray and a lot of pain. And she takes me to, I called a friend. The friend says, I can get you into my doctor. He'll take care of you, the ophthalmologist. To this day, my friend Elizabeth Cadell, you know that I love you. And we're still friends, by the way. But she got me to see her eye doctor. Eye doctor's like, this is more than eyeglasses. He's like, I need to send you somewhere else. So he sent me to the only neuro-ophthalmologist in the state of Nevada. There's only one.
Oh, wow.
Sends me to this doctor. Doctor's like, horrible bedside manner. I'm there scared, like I can't see like what's going on. And he sends me, he's like, I got to do a spinal tap on you. Puts me to go get a needle down my spine. That was traumatizing on its own. But then I went back to his office, and then he's like, you have multiple sclerosis. What's that? I had never heard of MS. I had never heard of multiple sclerosis. So don't ever go to the internet when you're given a diagnosis. It'll scare the, can I say shit?
Yo, sure.
It'll scare the shit out of you, because you know who came up? The beautiful Annette Funicello from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She was vibrant, beautiful young girl. She was diagnosed with MS, and her end life was so sad. The way she died, it was so sad. And she was just a vegetable, you know.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I was on medications. I think I was on 11 medications, and then I'll take the medications, and they scared the shit out of me, these doctors. And
did your eyesight came back?
They did. They gave me some steroids that tasted like metal in my body and in my mouth, and they came back after like 4 days. I was able to see again, but still, I didn't feel good. I've suffered a lot. I still, to this day, I suffer with chronic conditions and pain and all that. But I ran the stratosphere 3 weeks ago.
I know. You know, I was going to say, you know, it's close to about 8 or 10 years that I have actually, since I met you. And, you know, I met you at a health, healing, and happiness event where, you know, I think you still had a cane, and you were still kind of walking with a cane assisted. And since then, you've overcome so many barriers. And I watch you do these crazy exercising, and then you, as you said, you ran the stratosphere, and with a hurt toe that day, you've gone from walking on a cane to running up. How many stairs is it?
Oh, it's over 1,500 steps and 109 flights of stairs. And the air is thinner when you get to the top. But it is, I did it 3 years ago I do things when I do things and I do something crazy like that, I do it to prove to myself. It is for nobody else but for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then I say, what the fuck am I getting myself into?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing, right? And then I do it, and I'm like, I did it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I look at everything. Like, this is scary, but you do it anyways. You have to feel the fear and do it anyways, because
absolutely,
to me, everything in life's scary. Getting married scary, having a boyfriend scary,
having a baby scary.
Yeah, walking to the store scary, but you do it anyways. You can't live in fear. And I want to talk about that in a bit, about like fear, that like life can be very fearful, but there's a way that you can rise above that. But I share that because with this diagnosis, and forgive me for going all over the place, but
no, you're good.
You know, I was diagnosed, and I was on these expensive drugs. They made me more sick, and these doctors really don't have intentions of the medicines are not a cure. And I'm going to say that for anybody who has MS, the medications are not a cure. They might mess with your immune system to do something, and I will not disparage or anybody who does the MS drugs. I'm not going to do that, just not. But my choice is I'm drug free. I just am. But I was at my desk one day because I was trying to go back to work, and I did feel like I was going to die. I was like, I'm going to die. My body felt, you can't see MS unless I'm in a walker, a wheelchair, a cane, or in bed, right? But the neurologist calls me and says, you're never going to work again, he said. I had built this career, Wendy. Now I'm going to cry.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that people say, you know, or that they take on. And this is where you've been so strong, is a doctor can give you a diagnosis, and you can either choose to believe that, or you can choose to not believe that and
And say,
And-
fuck this shit.
And fuck
Just being
this.
honest,
No,
I do it all
fuck
the time.
excuses. Fuck this shit. Fuck everything. And take charge of your own life for real. And that's what you chose to do.
I have chosen to do that. It hasn't been easy because when I was sitting at my desk and I felt like I was going to die because like MS was creating, like it was a very scary journey. Like, what is this? But he's like, you're never going to work again. And I had to leave my career. And in losing my career, I lost a lot of things. I lost my home. I lost my car. I could have been homeless. And there was a friend of mine that she allowed me to go live with her for a while. And I'm grateful to her for this day that she allowed me to stay with her. And then I got my own place. And then I used to ride the bus all around Las Vegas, Wendy. People, like, I have a fancy electric car now, and people are like, you're so lucky. Yeah, I used to walk and I used to take the bus. But I still showed up anyways. I still showed up in life. Like,
Don't
for me,
underestimate anybody.
no, you're absolutely right, because people are like, how did you do what you did? Like, how did you get around town? How did you build a business that I had back then when I became disabled by a label that they get? Like I'm legally disabled. I should have a handicap placard on my car, and I refuse to use it because I don't want that label.
Right.
I'm not saying you just,
It's mind over matter, or is it more than that?
it's mind over matter, but it's also something in your heart that you have to commit to. Like, I'm not going to let this win. And I think that's where my stubbornness comes into play. Is I'm not going to let this win. No. I mean, it is like losing my career, losing all that, then having no car, having to ride the bus around town, living in a 1-bedroom apartment, living on a stupid fixed income that the government gives to you. And then no doctors. Like, I have one doctor. I love him. You know who he is. He's a functional medicine doctor. He is the only one who's patient with me, listens to me, and does not dismiss me. And he's been very good to me. Wishing Wellness Medical.
Wishing Wellness Medical.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You call them if you need a functional medicine doctor. Because it's crazy when you go to the doctor. I was dismissed so many times when I had weird stuff happen to me. And I'm like, what is it? Is it because I'm a girl? Is it because I have dark skin? Like, I don't ever talk that way, but I really thought, like, am I being dismissed when I cannot feel my entire half of my body?
Well, what's great about Wishing Wellness and the doctor and the health coach over there and everything is, they look at you as a whole.
Yeah.
As a whole person, and not just the physical part. And that's where these other docs are failing, I think, in the system today. If I can say that, it's just, we're a whole person. We're more than just a physical
We're body,
ailment.
we're mind, and we're soul. And for me, the biggest work that I'm doing right now is on my soul. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that's very appropriate that you're Soul Inspired Living with Wendy, because I've learned in my journey, my spiritual journey, there's been a lot of work. There's still a lot of work to be done.
There's work until we're dead.
Yeah. And it's requires a lot of forgiveness of people.
And
Of self.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I was forgiving myself the other day. I'm like, Dina, forgive yourself. Give yourself some grace.
Yes, there you go.
I was like, why did you do that? Yeah, because I'm a human, that's why, right?
That's right.
But you have this career, going from this career to like making all these bad decisions and good decisions as well. I don't ever want to neglect the good things that I've done in my life.
Right.
But soon after the MS diagnosis, then I was diagnosed with a advanced form of Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and that in itself is a beast of its own. Last year, I lost complete feeling of my left side because I'm not cured of MS. I'm living with MS, but I'm rising above MS. Meaning, I can't feel my left side today, but I'm still going to show up. I can't feel my left side today or my waist, but I'm still going to climb the stratosphere.
And that's completely overcoming adversity.
Yeah. You have to. I mean, even this afternoon, I was having some really bad brain fog moment. I go, no, I will not let Wendy down. And guess what? Most importantly, I will not let myself down. And that has been a big thing. When things get tough, I say, do not let yourself down,
Right.
But I don't want to focus on all the ailments, because I was even diagnosed with a very rare disorder that I've suffered from that changed my life forever. You talk about those moments that changed. MS changed my life. And this disorder that I have has changed my life. And I don't really talk about it openly because it's very embarrassing.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask, is what was a major turning point that, you know,
What is something natural that you do every single day that if you didn't do it, what's something like, do you eat, do you drink?
right. We eat and drink to survive, right?
Yeah. Those are
mean,
natural.
I guess we don't have to eat every day, but
No.
we have to drink.
Yeah.
We have to
Very natural things.
yeah,
Some things
yeah.
those things, my friends, eating food, drinking water are the most natural things that everyone does.
And we do it without thinking about it. It's, like our heart beats, it's our subconscious mind that is just doing that for us.
Yeah, it's and I tell people if there's anything I really live with a deep purpose and in Thanksgiving every single day because I was diagnosed, remember MS and then Hashimoto's, and then after 4 years I went to UCLA and they finally diagnosed me with ineffective esophageal motility disorder. It's a nerve issue, so it could be from the MS, but no
That's
one's
a
been able.
mouthful. Say that again.
Okay, it's actually longer than that. It's called ineffective esophageal motility disorder with rumination syndrome. And I suffer, and it's embarrassing because this moment not only changed my life, but like, I'm not saying my last relationship ended because of it, but it got in the way of my last relationship. And it was a breaking point where I was feeling miserable. I was depressed. I was like, what is going on? I can't even have a glass of water because I'll vomit. I'd vomit, I can
We have a
choke,
doggy.
all those things. But it's embarrassing. I'd be out in public, I'm belching, like really. I think I had like 2 or 3 belches before coming in with you today.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, man, but it's just, I swallow a lot of unnecessary air, number one. And number
It's just
two,
real.
it's the nerves that are not properly opening and closing my sphincter, and my intestines aren't moving things properly. And a year ago, I was in a severe place of depression. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to live. And I didn't have the diagnosis yet. And I had met this lady at an event talking about she was diagnosed with cancer. Now, I don't have cancer. Everybody checked me for cancer. Like, you don't have cancer. Thank God I don't have cancer. But that's a result of all the good choices that I've made. Remember, those good choices are important,
Yep.
I could sit here and say, I have these illnesses. It's okay. I'm going to die anyways. I'm going to eat like shit. No, I don't do that. I eat
Right.
flipping sardines every single day.
I know. I see the sardines on the stories every day, and I'm just like, oh my
I had about
goodness.
2 to 3 cans.
I haven't tried them, so I really can't say it's gross or anything like that. But maybe one day I will.
Maybe I will bring you a tin tomorrow, Wendy.
Okay.
They're life changing, they're life giving, and I am gonna say there's a brand that I love called Bella Sardines because they not only look differently, but they smell differently and they taste differently in a very good way. But long story short, and all that, I could sit here and be like, I have these illnesses. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna die. But we're all gonna die.
Right.
But you know what? When after that pivotal moment in my life a year ago when I was in severe depression, I met this woman who had cancer, and she talked about her recovery and about living to 120. I'm like, you can live to 120? And she's like, you can. And I'm like, I want to live to 120, but wait, I have MS. I have these. But here's the thing. I don't want to just live to 120. I even have my necklace today, 120.
Yes.
I don't want to live to 120. I just belched.
Oh, there
There
went
we go.
one. Maybe it's when you get excited.
Yeah, I have to be very mindful of my speed. It's my anxiety as well. I was like, it's possible. And I started reading, there's a book by Ilchi Lee about choosing to live to 120. I mean, we all have a time and a day appointment with death, right? But what I really took out of her message, Kristen's message, and Ilchi Lee's message is that if you can live with purpose every single day, you can live a damn good life.
Yeah.
And I am.
I've from scrolling online, I've come across, oh, looky here. Here's an old lady in India somewhere that was 116 years old, and she's still, alive. And I was like, wow, And so when you come up with, 120, I'm like, well, that's really not too.
It is possible. As humans, we were designed, but sadly, the modern world comes a lot of modern disease and a lot of we live in a very toxic world. Our water system's corrupt, our food system's corrupt,
That's right.
our relationships are corrupt.
Right. And I like to say, we have to
I
be
should've said
mindful
that.
of, it's okay. Well, we have to be mindful of what we put in our body, on our body, and what's in our environment.
And in our minds.
Right. Because why? Because this is the world we live in.
It is. It is.
You
I
know?
choose, I'll be honest with you, anybody who asks me today, I am living with not only deep purpose every single day, but I choose joy every single day, even in the rough moments, even when this disorder has affected me. But I did meet with my specialist at UCLA, and he's like, I just need you to know that from a year ago when I saw you to right now, you have made a 180-degree turn.
Wow.
And
So
and
that's
I still
a 50% improvement.
It's probably bigger than that. Because even though I had a belch a moment ago, I literally would wake up belching large amounts of empty air. And it's painful. Or rumination syndrome. Like I'd eat something and I'd vomit. Eat something and I vomit. It's embarrassing to talk. I was like, what man's going to want me vomiting my food up? Like seriously, I thought,
I know.
it messed with my psyche. So I talk about that because if you think about it for a second, it was a moment that changed my life forever, that I could never eat food or drink water or drinks for that matter like a normal person ever again. I only eat twice a day, Wendy. I do things in sips. I have to do deep breathing exercises prior to eating or drinking food and after as well. Imagine meeting a guy say, I have to do a deep breath before I have a piece of food. Is that okay? That's how.
And
Who
there,
wants
there's
to date Dita who has to take a deep breath before she eats her sardines?
but there's people out there that do plenty of things before they eat.
They pray.
Some people pray.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. And some people breathe. Not everybody does that.
But you know what? If you think about it, there's what it has done for me in a very positive way, of course. This doggie's like a little crazy right now. How do you want to come up with mama? You can. It has actually caused me to slow down. And
She has something to say.
Yeah, she does. Come on, let's come up here. What's happened is it's caused me to slow down. It's caused me to be more mindful eating, not eating in a rush. How many people today are eating in a rush?
That's right.
How many people are not even stopping to even think what they're eating? Most people live in fast food drive-thrus eating their food, And
They don't even know. They're not even conscious of what they're doing.
And to me, I actually sit at my kitchen table. I thank God for the food that's about to nourish me. I thank God for the people who picked my food, to bless the hands that pick the food that are going to nourish me and give me that long life that I desire. And then I do my deep breathing exercises, and then I do them after as well. And they've helped tremendously.
And you chew your food.
Most people, many people just swallow their food. True story.
Absolutely. They don't even taste it. It's like a dog,
Yeah.
They're just gobbling it down and not chewing it, not tasting it. We have these teeth in our mouth to masticate.
Create enzymes to
right.
break down the
Right.
food and help it move more smoothly through our whole digestive tract and
Right.
affect our gut system, our microbiome in a very positive way. So I do. And I have some friends. I have a friend who chews about his 50 times. He chews his food 50 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, John, really? He's like, yes. And I'm like, well. But anyways, it's more than that disorder. These things have changed my life. I've had some heartbreak in my life. I've had poverty in my life. But my thing is wait, Dina, that's not who you are. First of all, you're a child of God. Number two, you're more than those labels. You're not, even though the government and your neurologist, you are disabled. I actually was like, should I get a label that says I am able? Because I really am.
Forget the dis part of it.
I am able. And
Yeah.
I use that a lot to get me through the moments when I do have a hard time, I'm really,
And fuck the excuses, right?
really, yeah. Sometimes they creep in because I'm human. I'm not a perfect person. And this morning I put my alarm in at 4:00. I had to do some things. And at 4:10, I'm hitting the snooze and nobody's waiting for me. 4:10, 4:20, I'm like, get up. And I could say, fuck the excuses, right? But it was like, wait, Dina, get up, because you committed to yourself that you were going to wake up at this time to get these things done.
That's right.
And I did. But with all these things, you're like, what does all this have to do about soul-inspired living? We are, again, made up of the body, the mind and the soul. And the biggest work that I have been working on is my journey with God, you know.
And it's living from your soul. How are you living from your soul?
Yeah, I do curse though. I'm going to be honest with you, but it's
That's
my way
okay.
that I express myself. So if anybody
Yeah.
takes trouble with, it's how I express myself, and I'm no longer going to diminish myself or
That's right.
try to like fit myself into a
Something-
little perfect
Yeah,
little
be
square
yourself.
box.
Exactly.
I stopped doing that,
Yep.
and I don't people please anymore, Wendy.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
That's part of the soul journey.
Yeah, been there, done that
Oh,
too.
like what am I? I want you to accept me, so I'm going to diminish myself so you can accept me. No.
Right.
No, I'm going to be me. I'm going to show up, and
And if you don't like it, keep it moving.
yeah, keep it moving.
Yeah.
But to me, and that's a beautiful part of this, it's that living with that deep purpose. It's working on my spiritual life, praying more. I say meditation. Do you meditate?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Coming into calm.
I make that a priority when I first wake up. Before I get out of bed, I do some meditation and I say some affirmations for
Yeah.
myself. And, I think that's a big thing. My son was recently telling me, the first 2 hours of your day kind of set yourself up for the day. So what are
Yes.
we doing in
Thank
those first
you.
2 hours of the day? Are they positive? Are they negative? How did you get out of bed? How did you treat? Did you put yourself first? Even
like
if we,
that.
and I like to say, even if we have kids, we need to put ourselves first, like filling up our cup first, and then we can assist our children. Because if our cup isn't full, then we can't.
And you deplete yourself. And I think that's what I did for so long, Wendy, is that I literally would give even when I didn't have. I'd give. I'd
Same.
show up sick and I'd be like over here, like serving people and doing things or taking calls when I didn't need to take calls or whatever, And
Same.
but I've learned to set boundaries. It's something that I've learned at the tender age of 49.
I know, right?
Setting boundaries and being mindful of, where I share my energy and whose energy is invited into my life. Now I'm going to talk to everybody, like
Yeah.
I was at the Whole Foods store and there's a gentleman and he's like, oh, and he starts flirting and I'm like, oh, I was like, okay, can I give you a hug? Sure. It was, by the way, when I share that, it was just very friendly and very safe. He works in the produce department.
Yeah.
I asked him for garlic. It's right there. Oh, okay.
Oh, whoops.
Whoops, can I give you a hug?
right under my nose.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a podcast on its own.
Yeah. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with being friendly. What happened to that? We used to have that back in the 70s and 80s. And, I moved to Las Vegas in 94.
Oh, wow.
And it was a big change, going from a small town in California to a big city. And, I was just saying this the other day. It's kind of off subject, but
It's
just, back in those days, we didn't have so many people in the world, I guess, is what it is. I think we were a bit safer. We were friendlier. Hey, we knew our neighbor. How you doing? Oh, you know what? Can I borrow a couple eggs? Or
Yeah.
or-
That's how I remember life.
we slept with our front door open for
Yep.
crying out loud. Just the screen shut and the front door open, and we slept like that in the summertime. It was nice to let the breeze in.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about crime, people breaking in, nothing.
No. My front door's still open right now. Shh.
Shh.
No,
There's a good neighbor,
That's
though.
the mentality that I have. But
Yeah.
it has changed. It has
Yeah.
changed the world that
Yeah.
we live in, and
Mhm.
it was just the friendly encounter, but it was just
Yeah.
kind of funny, and it's
But people are people, and that's what we need to get back to. Is, and people are people, and I just wish there wasn't so much, of the uptightness and watching over your shoulder,
No.
and
I think it's possible. I think we can still do that. Just choose who we give the energy to, and whose energy we receive in. Like I can tell people I'm really good at reading people. I'm really good at reading energy. Like if that person's not good for me. Now here's the thing. I always like to say that I keep people in arm's length like this. Like I'm not going to be rude to you, but I'm going to keep you here because I need the space for me to preserve my nervous system. That's like
That's a big
daily.
one.
That's a daily thing, is preserving my nervous system. Like I don't need anybody yelling at me. I don't need anybody scolding me. I don't need anybody like complaining about me or criticizing me. So,
Exactly.
and that's part of preserving my nervous system. That has been a big part of the physical part of my body, mind, soul, is taking care of that. Not just nourishing with food, that's a given, but really just making sure that I'm slowing down, deep breathing.
We could all do a deep breath right now. In
Yeah.
through the nose, out through the
That, and I do
mouth.
that a lot, and that's what I told my doctor, that I go, that has saved me. That deep diaphragmatic breathing has saved me. And even like people, like if anybody who's watching this and you guys go to church, let everything that have breath praise the Lord. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Like breathing is so critical. It's the only thing we have, and it's the only thing that brings us back to
That's what
ourselves.
gives us life. That's
Yeah.
the first thing we did when we were born was to breathe, right?
Yes, and it's the last thing we do before we die.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. So it's a critical thing. So with all that, you think, okay, diagnosis, poverty, traumatic event when I was born, and losing career, and just a shitload of things that happen in life. But I don't want to focus on those things. I want to focus on living with that deep purpose and choosing joy every single day, and and using your pain and turning it into a purpose. Because there's probably somebody out there, you may not don't have the experiences that I have, but guess what? Maybe life was rough for you, but get whatever it is that was rough for you. Put some good meaning to it, and let it
and put the pain
catapult you.
into purpose.
Yeah.
Put the pain into purpose.
And for me, that's why I'm all about the 120 life. I call it the 120 blessing, because life is a blessing.
Yeah, that's
there's
what
a-
I was going to say. What are you most passionate about right now?
Right now, my sardines. I keep going back to that because they just make me happy. They give me a lot of energy. That's what it is.
Wow.
When I'm fatigued, open up a tin, I feel energy. And I say it jokingly, but in all reality, they have been very good to me. I'm actually getting ready to go on a 7-day sardine only fast.
Wow.
I've done it before. I'll do it again. But what am I passionate about right now? I am passionate about living each day with good intentions, doing well to others, and showing others how you too, like I had somebody, I don't want to live to 120. That's okay if you don't want to live to 120, but why don't you make the life that you do have left of whatever it is, live it with some deep meaning and purpose.
Exactly.
Most people don't
They
know
don't
their
even think
purpose.
about it. They're caught up in this rat race out here
Yeah.
of get up, go to work, come home, watch the TV, eat dinner, whatever, go to bed, and get up tomorrow and do the same thing over and over again. Like, what kind of life is that? What kind of life do you want to live? We can have whatever life we actually want.
That's where I'm at right now, Wendy.
Yeah.
I'm working on some things right now. I want to continue to build this mission that I have of showing people how to live well, how to live to 120 with purpose, joy, nourishment, and serving others at the same time while honoring boundaries. But you know what? I don't want to bring up names or anything, but there's someone in my life that I love with all my heart, and I would take a bullet for this individual. 2 people specifically. But they both live in fear. And I don't want to live in fear. And I have some crazy ideas about some things that I'm going to do this year. I'm going to do them.
Yeah.
I don't care. I only have one. Wendy, we only have one life. One life.
Right.
And I'm like, and then what? And I'm like, do I live in fear that I can't live out of the country one day? And in
No.
your experience, cough, cough, Germany. Did I just say that?
You know, I'm looking at Europe as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not right now, but I just want, I just, it's not to say it's forever either. It is for having new experiences, because you have to
Life is
imagine.
an experience,
It
for
is.
crying out loud.
It is. And I look at, like, I built this career, I lost the career, I have these diagnoses, they try to take my life away multiple times, the diagnosis, but I'm still here, and I'm like, so
It
what
doesn't define you.
if
It
they
doesn't.
don't define me? But so what? If you already been through that, you could live in Europe and have a whole new life and live with meaning and just have a new experience.
And travel and see different places and, geez, do what you want to do in your life.
Yeah. Choosing
So tell me
joy.
more about the 120 blessing, because I'm really interested in this, and I think I want to join that
It's just
movement.
it is so a big so a big part of that, something that I do every day. I haven't talked about this, but I want to keep it brief because I want to respect our time here today. But one thing that I do daily is I rebound every day for my lymphatics and for my health, and it just give me that energy, that oxygen that I need.
And that
Not to lose
rebounding,
weight.
rebounding on a trampoline?
On a mini trampoline.
Okay.
And I have an Instagram page, I hope I can share it, called Rebound to 120,
Uh-huh.
because of, I mean, imagine how people do you know don't even exercise at all?
Well, there's a few.
Yeah, people.
And sitting is the new smoking, if you didn't know. And there's so many kids out there today that are just in front of the game, or
Cell
or their
phones,
cell phones,
iPads,
the neck,
Instagram, Facebook.
the scroll, sitting, up, down,
Yeah.
and not exercising.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So movement is a part of the 120 blessing.
Mhm.
It's a big part of it. It's not just rebounding. Like if I could tell anybody out there, if you don't have a rebounder, go for a walk. Go for a walk.
Yeah.
The
Move your
120
body.
blessings also about choosing the right food so that you can live that long life to 120.
Mhm.
Also about your circle, who you hang out with. That's, I talked about energy earlier, energy from, like that's part of living. Community, it's huge. Like I'm going to an event tonight and it's all about community. Like people in another country live long lives because first of all, they're not in a rush mentality like we are here in the United States.
Yeah.
They gather weekly and have siestas, they take siestas, they take naps, they dine together, and they find that that's part of like longevity is having community.
Yeah.
And we live in a very
And
isolated
being
world.
around those that you're loved by, I think brings more longevity as
Oh
well.
yeah. Love is important. I still believe in love. As much as I joke about it, Wendy, about guys suck. No. I still believe in love, and the right person will love you just the way you need to be loved.
Right. And you're going to find that right person that's going to love you, whether you're belching before you eat, while you eat,
I love you,
Oh.
Nina.
face down. They're gonna love you no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
There's someone out there for everyone.
There is. And you know what? Like, I joke around, I'm being silly now, but in reality, just imagine being fully yourself, and somebody loving you just the way you are with your antics, your sense of humor, your, like, I talk way too much, Wendy. Somebody who loves me because I talk too much. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, they're gonna love you for everything. Your flaws, your quirks, your talking, your everything.
Your sense of humor, yeah. So that's a part of the 120 blessing is choosing love and in loving your friends, loving your family with boundaries. And
Most definitely.
yeah, with boundaries. That's very important. And getting restful sleep. You know how many people are like sleep deprived right now?
That would be me.
Too many. So it's to me the 120 blessing. I want people to know what's possible. And the people are like, well, you have MS and you've got all these disorders and all that. But what if a cure is found for MS in my lifetime of living to 120? Think about that for a second.
Well, is it cures or is it curing yourself?
It's both. It's both.
Yeah.
I think you have to do the work first to cure yourself. You have to go deep in yourself. Like for me, the healing journey, I call it a healing journey for me with everything that's happened. Like I am a different person today than I was a year ago or the year before.
Right.
Because there was so much pain involved, like physical pain from the disorders and all that. But
And then you have the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. You have to go through all these layers,
yeah, and that's what we talked a little bit earlier, like forgiving yourself, finding peace with God, and it's so much. And I'm not here. Everybody has a choice. If you want to live to 120, but living it with purpose and joy, like I am a joyful person.
Yeah, we don't want to live it in suffering, right?
No, and that's why I'm not worried about it. Like I've had people laugh at me and criticize me. How stupid is that? Well, it's not stupid. Because I'm going to be living to 120 and I'm still going to be doing combat fighting at 120.
Yeah, I'm just about halfway there, and I'd really like the next half of my life to be the best half of my life.
That's where I'm at, Wendy.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I said I'm telling everybody my age, why. I'm going to turn 50 this year, but I'm going to make the next 70 years of my life amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let nobody get me down.
Absolutely.
It's
Why
going to
not?
be, I'm excited. But it definitely is a lot of soul work, so soul-inspired living. I hope that anything or everything that I shared today, I don't care if you're a man, woman, child, old, young, fat, skinny, black, white, I truly, with all my heart, I hope that those who are watching, that you maybe we'll take something and say, you know what? I can do that. Because there's nothing special about me other than pretty damn resilient. And I
Right.
am proud of that.
Right.
But I think I picked that up when I came out of that hospital at day 3, and I could have been possibly killed by
Right.
guns.
Right.
And
Mhm.
there was something in me, the hand of God
Well,
first.
the
But
resilience through
yeah,
the diagnoses and everything
through
else.
breakups, through losses,
Mhm.
losing businesses and all that.
We
you know,
are
I'm not
very
giving up.
resilient.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it is something that I'm proud of, you know.
Mhm.
In the moment, it doesn't feel that way. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to sit there, oh, I feel great because I lost my business today, or I feel great because I broke my toe today, or I
Right.
feel great. No, it's about, okay, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, life is
Life happens.
but life is not happening to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening for us.
For us.
Imagine if I had
Mhm.
stayed in my old ways of the way I did things growing up, and I used to
Mhm.
drink a lot of alcohol, do all kinds of
Mhm.
bullshit. I don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine I would have stayed in that path. Life is happening for you and not
Mhm.
against you. Never. It's a mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to wrap things up here shortly, but yep, you're absolutely right. It's happening for us, and it's a mindset.
It's a mindset, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that those who watch, will take a piece of a nugget from here. It could be something tiny that said, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to live to 120. And there'll be people that are going to laugh at you. People criticize. They do it all the time.
Or they think that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's not. It's
You know.
one of the most normal,
Mhm.
natural things that and biblically people live long lives.
Yeah.
Sin is what destroyed
Mhm.
the world.
Mhm.
But anyways, that's another
But
story.
yeah, that was different back in
Yeah.
those days than it
It's
is in these
I
days.
could die
Mhm.
crossing the street tomorrow, Wendy, but you know
Mhm.
what? When I go to bed, that ultimate sleep, I lived with purpose. I defied odds.
Mhm.
I rose above everything that came my
And
way,
in peace.
and I lived with love. Like to me,
Mhm.
I'm a lover. I'm definitely not a fighter. Fighter, like
yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
that's a
have
waste of time.
That's a
yeah.
yeah. I'm grateful. Thank you for just yes. What's your story? That's some of my story.
Yeah. That was just a little chunk of it, and I really appreciate you being here and telling your story today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
From
you.
Nova and I, we thank you. She's been my
Yeah.
little. She helps. She reminds me that I have to deep breathe. By the way, but
Oh,
yeah.
does she really?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. She's
Oh,
here for a
she's
purpose. But thank
awesome.
you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for being here. So that concludes our episode today. And if you enjoyed this conversation, then I invite you to reflect on your own story and look at where you've been, what you've overcome, and what is coming next. And if that has you feeling a little stuck or overwhelmed or just unsure of the next step, just remember that one conversation can change everything. And if you feel called, I have a clarity call session. I'll link it below in the description box. If you loved this episode, please hit the subscribe button and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And as always, peace, love, and be well.